Hello guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. This week we have brought in Bryan Bowman. Hello Bryan, do you want to say hello?
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to be here, Danny. Thank you so much for having me on.
No worries. And today what we're going to be talking about is the light at the end of the funnel. A lot of people talk about funnels. Some people using them, some people not. So I thought I'd bring in Bryan as he's got a deep history in funnels and maybe help some of the audience here. So do you want to give us a little bit of a backstory of, what is a funnel for those that don't know, and where you are in your story building funnels?
Yeah, absolutely. So Danny, first thing I want to mention, and again, thanks for having me on. And I always get excited to be able to talk about this. Recently this year, I was fortunate enough to be invited to a few of the bigger trade shows, bigger Amazon seller shows, e-commerce seller shows, and every time I can speak about this, I love to, because it's something actually that I went through a lot of pain in order to discover sort of why this is so important. So when you title this, it's funny because you had come up with the title. You're like light at the end of the funnel, and obviously there's a play on words there, but for me it struck home because honestly, in a lot of ways, a funnel really was sort of the light at the end of a lot of pain for me, and I'll talk about that in a second. But essentially, a sales funnel is a way to walk your consumer kind of by the hand through the buying process. One of the big things that we see is we see conversion rates dropping. If you sell on Amazon, then you're probably used to some really nice conversion rates. Maybe you're seeing things like 10%, 15, maybe some of you are running as high as like 25%. And then you start realizing, you know what, I need to start building my own list. I need to build my own sandbox, right? I need to build my own thing off Amazon and diversify. And then you go and you build a Shopify store, let's say, which, by the way, Shopify and funnels go hand in hand. But let's say you've just decided, I'm going to throw up some stuff on Shopify. If you are like 95% of people, or probably like 98% of people who do this, you're seeing between 0 and 2% conversion rate. So all of a sudden you go, wait, what happened, right? Like, what's the deal? I thought it would be like Field of Dreams, right? I build it and they will come. They will all find my products. So sales funnels at the end of the day are more like a personal shopping experience. So the best analogy I love to use is, imagine you go into a Costco. A Costco is kind of like a Shopify store or like a traditional web store. Let's just say that. So when you go into a Costco, you walk in, right? And you've got this big shopping cart. And you look around and what do you see? You see just rafters of products everywhere. And you can go and you can just dump the products into there and you keep pushing your cart through the store. You dump some more things in. And then you go, you check out, and there you go. You bought a whole bunch of stuff. So contrast that with a personal shopper. So I used to work at a Banana Republic when I was much younger, and we had a guy in the store. He was a personal shopper. Like, that was his title. I mean, I think he was probably paid $2 more an hour than everyone else. But what he was really good at, I mean, on a Saturday, we could have 13 people on the floor. And John, he was the personal shopper. He could do 25% of the sales volume in one day, like with 13 of us on the floor. So he would just dominate. And the reason is he gave a more personalized experience. So the person walks in the door, right, or walks in the store, and he could right away see it's a man, it's a woman. They're slender. Maybe they're a little overweight, whatever it is. But he now can start sizing them up and understanding what they're probably going to want. Then he can start asking questions. So he can say, how can I help you today? And then it's a guy, and the guy says, I need clothes for a date tonight, right? Then John already knows, all right, I'm not going to show him the real casual stuff. He wants to look good. And then he'll keep asking questions. So turns out the guy, it's a nice dinner, so he'll give him a dress shirt. But what he's going to do along the way is he's also going to show him the dress pants, some cufflinks, a tie, and maybe some cologne on his way out the door. And this whole time, it's not that the prospect or the customer was like, oh, you're selling me stuff. No, like, this guy wants to look good for his date night, right? He wants to look good. But what John was really good at was identifying what are the things that he wants. We would call that congruent offers that your audience wants. What are the things that this guy who just came in wants? Put it in front of him, let him buy it, and walk out the door actually happier than when he came in. So, and that's why we see conversion rates. If you look at conversion rates on a good funnel, it's not hard to get 20 to 30% conversion rates as opposed to, 2% on a web store. So that's why funnels are so powerful. It's because when they're engineered correctly, and it doesn't take that much effort. It just takes a little more thought and a strategy, which we'll talk about today. But when they're engineered correctly, they start speaking to the motivations, the pain points, the reasons why people buy, and it makes you look like a hero because you're putting the right things in front of them.
Cool. So we kind of covered what is a funnel. So let's look at, owning your own sandbox off of Amazon. I know you've talked about this before. So before we move into what is a successful funnel, talk about off Amazon, because obviously our listeners are based mainly on Amazon, but obviously we're looking at means and ways to bring in additional revenue so you're not completely relying on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you who've been following me and sort of my journey, if you've been a part of my, the private Facebook community we have of e-commerce sellers, you've seen we've made a big shift in the last few months. We used to be AMZ Profit Pros, and I spent 7 months really thinking about, did I want to make this big move to rebrand the group? And I finally decided I did because, again, of my personal experience, which I want to share with you in a second. So we've rebranded, and we are Ecom Underground now. And the reason I did that was twofold. One is I believe that all of us, Amazon is an amazing place to start. You learn so much about how e-commerce works, understanding the whole process of actually sourcing goods and selling them. But at the end of the day, they control your business. I'm not saying they control the most important part of your business. In my opinion, through my experience, I'd have you consider that they control your business because they control your customers. And at the end of the day, the customer is the lifeblood of your business. So what we do is we take a little bit different approach. We use Amazon as one of the spokes in the wheel, but not the entire wheel. Amazon has their own sandbox, and we go and play in that, but we build our own sandbox. We build our own sort of playground where we tell Amazon what piece of the pie they get, not the other way around. So for me, basically, I was an Amazon. I mean, I still am an Amazon seller. We still do high volume on Amazon, but that was our only play. Like, that's all we had. And things were good. We were doing very well. We were selling very well. I think in part because I understood listing optimization. I understood driving traffic. So that helped a lot. That was one competitive advantage I had. So we were able to scale very quickly. But then, and I literally remember this like yesterday. I've told this story before because it was a pivotal moment sort of not just in my life as a seller or anything, but as a husband, in my home and how I was going to earn income for my family. It was a Tuesday morning. I woke up. Now, I know a lot of you who sell probably fall into this category where you maybe have 50 SKUs, but 2 or 3, maybe 5 make up a high portion of your revenue. Yeah. Kind of like 80-20, right? So I woke up, like all of us, I checked my app on my phone and something is off. It does not seem right. Sales are way down. Okay, maybe, it's just an off morning, but now my brain's racing. I got to get up. So I go to the desktop to check. And sure enough, my heart's racing, my palms are sweaty because there's always that one worry in the back of our mind. There's always in the back of mind is what if things got shut down? And sure enough, I go in, our number one selling product was completely blocked. And this was by far our number one selling product. It made up 90% of our revenue, and completely blocked. Now, at that moment, obviously I'm panicking, I'm freaking out, because I basically have a little over 72,000 in inventory sitting that I have no way to move it. I have another, 30,000 coming in. I have no list. I have no way to move this product. And that's what sort of started this journey for me. What do I do? So I dug deep and I kind of went back to what I know, which is driving traffic. And then instead of sending that traffic to Amazon, we started really building out our sales funnel process and our off Amazon process. So through that pain came a huge blessing and a lot of power, because we are now obviously building up a customer list, and I've been able to sort of share this message with people. But the big takeaway is, if you are building a business on Amazon, I am all for it. I think you're doing the right thing because there's huge potential. Because one thing Amazon has done is they control the traffic, right? So the way I like to visualize it is, imagine a marathon. There's a marathon race. And you and your product are like the people with the water cups. You're standing there with the water, and there's this horde of people coming, and they're all thirsty and they're ready. and you're like here, and you're selling them your cups of water basically, and they're taking like, oh thanks, and they're gone. Like, hey, call me sometime. Like they took off, and you're just waiting for like the next person who wants your cup of water. And what I'd have you consider is a different alternative, or maybe you're not going to run the Chicago Marathon. You're still going to go there and hand out your water, but I want you to kind of start your own marathon on the other side where you control who's in the race.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so basically, to summarize that, is that we know that we play in Amazon's sandpit. So like what you just said there, that people get blocked all the time. I mean, I've got one of my lead products at the moment being blocked in the UK, has been for a couple of weeks. So I'm going through that situation at the moment. So I know how tough it is. I've also been through it whereby is that before Amazon, I was selling e-commerce. Now, I think what's important to address as well is that a lot of sellers jumped on Amazon, have started to sell for Amazon and think it's easy because they never sold. They don't know what it's like to sell online. You know, going back to your 0.5 and your 2% conversion rates and the cash that you can hemorrhage. I think what people think is that they jump onto Amazon, they understand the real basics. Like if we look at Amazon PPC, it's Toy Town. You know, it's not AdWords, it's not sophisticated or anything else. And I think what happens is people get the ump with Amazon because it's like, well, you know, we're doing all this on Amazon and they own the customers, and then they jump off Amazon, but then they don't realize technically you need to have some level of skills, which is why the introduction of funnels has been a lot easier for people, because it's cut down on the learnings and the attributes of what you have to understand about a funnel by using tools that are built for you nowadays that cut away. So I think that's kind of important to address to the audience, because our audience, you know, we've surveyed our audience, and they are Amazon sellers that are from 10,000 a month to 500,000 that tune in on a regular basis. So we're really happy for them that they are doing so well, but we also want them to share that with going off of Amazon, hence why bringing you in today. But it's also important for them to know that off Amazon is a different ball game. So it's understanding what that new ball game is, and it's not as simple as replacing the same volume of sales that are on Amazon.
Absolutely. 100, like literally, yes. And this is one of the things I'm always super transparent about, Danny, and to everyone who listens. This is not like, you know, you're literally, there's a few more moving pieces here. So you're going to have to, there's different things to master, but with the right strategy, like you said, and with the right tools, we can cut down that learning curve that a lot of the pain a lot of us went through, sort of, you know, spending $20,000 in Facebook ads to realize, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. And kind of going through that process. What you're saying is absolutely applicable to every range of seller. I've worked with clients that are doing 10,000 a month, all the way up to, I have a friend right now who's now become a client. He did $32 million last year. Yeah. And he came to me and he realized, I have 500 people on my list, man. Like, what do I do? Because I've got $3 million in inventory that, like, if 3 listings get shut down, 3 or 4 listings, like, I'm stuck, right? Yeah. So we've been going through this process with big and small sellers. One of the things I talk about, though, is the way that you're going to succeed in this marketplace, because it's gotten more competitive than ever. Everyone understands the opportunity with e-commerce. I don't care if it's Amazon, Shopify, BigCommerce, funnels, whatever it is taking your product from a commodity to a community. Yeah. And that's what I preach in Ecom Underground. We're taking your products from a commodity to a community. And we do that through our message. We do that through our positioning. So it's our promise, our positioning, and our big idea for our product. Even something as simple as, you know, a line of pens can have a unique promise, a unique positioning, and a big idea that removes price. Because at the end of the day, if a cup of coffee is a cup of coffee is a cup of coffee, no one in the world is ever going to pay $4.50 for this 16-ounce cup of coffee. But I'm here to tell you that this morning I paid $4.50 for this cup of coffee. Now, why in the world would I do that? Because there's a coffee shop down here. It's called Badass Coffee down here in Florida. I went in and I see a bunch of different coffee, and right away I get told the story, the positioning of a certain bean that's grown on the islands of Hawaii, that has it's taken care of on like a family farm. There's unique properties to it. There's something special about this coffee. And me, as somebody who loves coffee, yeah, let's do it. I've talked about case studies that we've done with kombucha. I've talked about case studies with, it's about how you position your product, but as long as you're in the mindset of price only, that you now sell a commodity. And on Amazon, everything's a commodity basically. There is an opportunity for Amazon sellers if they get their messaging right. So the same things we talk about off Amazon can be brought into Amazon. I have a friend, Dana. He specializes in helping people write the copy on their listings, not keywords on the back end, not special tricks of where you put a hyphen, literally in how they convey their positioning and their promise to their audience in the copy, and can charge more. So I don't want to go down a whole path with that, but to your point, if you are truly going to have a long-term, scalable, sustainable brand that means something to your customers, you have to move away from commodity, and you have to start building a community around your brand, a tribe, your raving fan base, because then all of a sudden they want to follow you.
Great. Well, look, let's look at what goes into, obviously we can't guarantee the success for everyone's funnel to be perfect, but what does the successful funnel look like? What are the attributes? Do you want to break that down for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be like 80-20 today. We're going to get down to the stuff that, let's boil it down.
Well, let's start with traffic, right? If you've got a shit source of traffic, you're going to blow it's going to blow it out of the water. It's going to be absolute dog shit in terms of conversions.
Yeah.
So let's start with the traffic, the quality of the traffic.
So you have three pieces that I like to focus on as far as a successful funnel. And they're independent, but somewhat interdependent. We'll talk about that. So the first thing is your traffic. The next thing is your landing page, or where you make your offer. Mm-hmm. And then the last part is your follow-up. What do you do with them afterwards? So we can kind of break those three things up. So the first thing is your traffic. And the important thing to remember is we're not just looking for any traffic. I know of services right now for about $5,000, I can get your product in front of 10 million eyeballs probably in the next 5 days. So there you go. That's traffic. We get a whole bunch of people there. That doesn't help you. This is the same thing as it's like, imagine. Do you remember Where's Waldo, Danny?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you ever seen you remember the Where's Waldo, and you have to look around and try to find for Waldo? So you just getting a bunch of traffic, whatever it is, and those of you who've maybe tried Facebook ads, you're like, it didn't work. You were probably just trying to scream louder than the next guy. So you were basically like, imagine that Where's Waldo picture, and you're just screaming out like, hey, I've got 90% off. Come over here and buy my product. No one's paying attention. It has to be targeted traffic. So the way we do that is we pull out, using like a magnet basically, we pull Waldo out, and we want to get all our Waldos in one area. And now we don't have to scream anymore. Now we can just share the message with them. We already know they're interested because we did the research. So targeted traffic is huge. Fortunately, we have Facebook. Facebook, I mean, a lot of you, I probably don't have to convince you guys, you probably have heard it by now. Your customer is on Facebook, and the targeting potential that we have on Facebook is remarkable. I mean, it's absolutely, it's a must for anybody who's selling online. You must gain some understanding, some deeper level understanding of Facebook.
Can you explain the targeting method on Facebook? It's like when we're talking the attribution of Amazon sellers, they're used to what we call searches intent. They go onto Amazon, they use sponsored ads. The person searches in the search engine on Amazon. They don't have to say buy spatula. They just type spatula. It takes them to returns the results to page of spatulas. So basically that's further down the funnel. Whereas on Facebook, it's disruptive, isn't it? It's a billboard. You're basically using a certain method of targeting to go, hello, I'm over here. So do you want to break down what contextual advertising is?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we've spent a lot of money testing until we finally have sort of cracked the code on this. So the idea is on Facebook, like Danny said, it's disruptive advertising. They're doing something else. They're scrolling through their phone, and now with mobile, they're scrolling even faster. And they're going through, and they're sort of skipping past everything to find the things that are relevant to them. So with the targeting, let's back up. First of all, we can target our avatar, our ideal customer, and that's part of the exercise. That a little bit of the elbow grease you got to put in the beginning is taking an hour of really going through an exercise. And we have a specific exercise we use to figure this out, which makes it a lot easier. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to know who they are, not just from a demographic standpoint, like age, gender, location, things like that. But what are their pain points? What are their discomforts? What are their fears? What are their wishes? What are their aspirations? When we go through that, now we're able to get their attention, because that's what we need to do with contextual advertising or with disruptive advertising. The first thing we need to do is get their attention. If we never get their attention, we're never going to be able to share our message. So the first thing that I see people do wrong on Facebook when they try to run ads, or really any direct response marketing, is they're not effectively grabbing attention before they ever try to communicate and build a connection. So first we have to grab their attention. I'll just give you right now, hands down, what builds that, what takes that attention? Image. We've split test so many different types of images that we now are starting to understand what are the ones that really grab people's attention. The other thing is we're pulling this is all part of that magnet. So we start with narrowing down that big Where's Waldo map of all those people with our targeting. So if I know that I sell to women, I'm not going to advertise to men initially. If I know that they're interested in certain interests, I'm going to target those interests. So I start weeding it down. But now that's great. So I'm going to show my ads to the right people, let's say, but how do I actually get them to pay attention without having to just scream louder than my competitors? So the first thing is we grab their attention. Image will do that. The second thing is I want to start building a connection. And the way I do that is, first of all, the big thing that people have to remember is the intention of the ad is not to make the sale. The intention of the ad is to get them to click. So what we want to do in the ad is we want to
explain that, because that's maybe not a method that people understand. So from my understanding, you need to get the click first because you need to create the reaction to build upon the data to then leads to the sale. Because if no one clicks on the ads, then you're going to get no sales anyway. So the idea is that you're specifying, can I get these people to click? If I can, you're then dipping down into the data and doing what next?
Exactly. So the funnel keeps going like this. And the first thing at the top of the funnel is we got to get people interested. It's kind of like when you go, I'm sure guys can relate to this, when you go to a bar and you see a woman, right? And she's gorgeous and you want to talk to her, but you first got to get her attention, right? Like the last thing you want to do is sort of like, hey, how are you doing? Hey, can I buy you a drink?
It's like, creepy,
whoa,
yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
Like back off. So it's just like we've all been there, right? Where you get her and she makes that eye contact with you, smiles and looks away. Boom. We have her attention. Now it's almost like she said, okay, it's cool. Like I'm giving you a window to talk to me. And then if I walk up and I'm like, hey, want to buy my thing? Hey, want to go to dinner? Whoa, easy. Now it's like, tell me about you. Like, hey, my name is Bryan. What's your name? Okay, now we're building a connection. Can I get you a drink? Like, can I offer you something first? Can I give you something first before I ever ask for anything in return? It's the same way of kind of, I guess, courting our prospect. We want their attention. Then let's build some kind of connection with them. Usually we'll use kind of story. So we won't talk about features of our product. We will take those same pain points we've identified and we'll build into some kind of story. And it doesn't have to be like a long story. It's just sort of like, if we know that it's coffee, then perhaps we're sharing a little bit about the beans. Like, as coffee lovers, we know that there's a difference between bitter and whatever and acidic beans and beans that are grown with care. So we're telling I know that somebody who's going to buy my $4.50 cup of coffee has certain aspirations. They want to drink the finest coffee bean. Well, I'm going to tell a story about why ours is, but I'm not looking to get them to buy anything yet. Yeah. I just want them to keep going down that process, click, so that then I can make them the offer on the landing page, which is the first page of our funnel.
Okay.
Does that help, Danny?
Yeah. So we've zoomed right into granular level. Let's zoom back out. So we're utilizing Facebook. We're trying to attract the click. We're starting with the image first, as part of the disruption process to capture, because it's easier for the eye to read an image than it is to grab the first line of the text straight away. So them eye studies that have been done out there, obviously the image is going to make the biggest difference first, and then we need to grab them emotionally with the title, is what you're saying next, but is then going to be congruent. What does the rest of the makeup of our ad look like?
Yeah, so then we keep it kind of brief. I mean, you could test all different types of form, but basically we want to call their attention, tell our story, and then have a call to action. Yeah. So at that point, we need them to click, and we need to be very, we're not saying please do that, like click here for more information or whatever. However we want to phrase our call to action. The point is we want them to click. Okay. So that then that does two things, and this is where I was saying it's independent traffic and offer, but it's interdependent as well, because independent in that the ad has a singular purpose, get them to click, but it also pre-frames them. It gets them in the right frame of mind before they get to the offer. Somebody who clicks where it's like, buy now, buy now, buy now, they click, they're already turned off. Like, it's kind of like if I said to somebody, hey, I know this guy, Danny McMillan, I don't know. He's all right. Go check out a link to this show he does. It's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes he has some decent guests. They're going to go click the link and go learn about Danny and Seller Sessions, as opposed to, hey, I just heard this amazing guy on Seller Sessions. He was talking about some really cool Facebook stuff and funnels. And I actually saw a lot of other really cool content on there. Go check out Danny's thing. I'm pre-framing them differently to come to your offer. So while it seems independent, they're interdependent. Conversion rates will be affected by how well we pre-frame people on the traffic side, on the ad side.
And I suppose as well is the thing we've got to look at that you've got to be careful of. It was going back to our little creepy analogy earlier on, like running up to the girl. You've got to be careful, responsible with your copy as well, because if you overcook it and make it maybe too cheesy, too salesy, do you see what I mean? It's capturing that right balance and essence, isn't it? Because some ads can look spammy, some ads can look engaging, some ads can look creepy. So it's a fine line, isn't it, to get the person's attention, getting the right person's attention, and putting the brand across in the right way. Exactly
right. Because now we've pre-framed them so they're going to click. We've got good feelings going. We're tapping into their emotions, right? Because people buy with emotions. That's it. People do not buy with logic. That is actually a scientific fact. The part of the brain that processes logic and facts and numbers and everything else is not the decision-making part of the brain. The emotional part of the brain is the one that actually makes decisions. So we need to have a story. And this is how, again, we start building away from commodity. What's the best price? What's the best price? What's the best price? To community, to building a sense of a story around our brand. So, and tapping into the stories that people are already telling themselves. All right, so we've got them to click. That's awesome. So we got our targeted traffic. We've pre-framed our offer. Now we're going to present them an offer. And this is where the funnel kicks in. Because a funnel, we've seen it. There's a lot of different funnels we use. The one that I'm going to encourage all of you who are just venturing into this funnel idea is what's called a free plus shipping funnel. The idea is we cover the cost of the good, whatever it is, the bag of coffee beans, whatever it is, and the customer pays for the shipping. Now, there's a lot of reasons why we want them to pay for the shipping. The main reason is we basically move the buying process along. But they really are getting the item for free, and we really are covering shipping. There isn't some sneaky thing where it's, free plus shipping. Shipping's only $50. Like, it literally is just covering the cost of the shipping. So your next question probably is, well, how are you making any money?
Break it down.
That's a great question.
Break that down. Free plus shipping.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. Because that click wasn't free. Unless you have a free traffic source that you've already built up. Let's say you've maybe built up a blog or something. But if you're doing direct response marketing where you're paying for a Facebook ad, that click costs you money. So now if you're already losing $3 coming into the funnel, let's say. Mm-hmm. Now you've got an ad or an offer where you're breaking even because you're just shipping the product for free. So where do you actually make any money? And this is where we start comparing, we start building out congruent offers in a funnel. That's why it's a funnel. Like we first start with the landing page, which is the initial offer, but then we present one or two additional offers right afterwards. They're called one-time offers or OTOs. What that allows us to do is to bump up average cart value. This is why when someone says, hey, I'm giving away my book for free, all you have to pay is $7.95 shipping, let's say. And then they go and look out for affiliates. Affiliate is somebody who will promote your book, let's say. And they say, I'll give you $20 for every book you give away for free. And you're like, wait, what? That makes no sense. You're going to give me $20 for giving away your free book? Yeah, you got it. All right, I'll give them away all day. Well, it's because the person giving away the book or whatever it is, the headset or the whatever product you sell, they know that their average cart value is whatever, $37. So they know that they can pay out 20 for every person that buys. Does that make sense, Danny?
Yep, totally. So do you want to just walk through those? Let's just say we've gone the click because we've gone very granular. I don't want to lose you. You guys
have Danny's he's a good interviewer because he can pull out because my brain goes deep really quick. So he can really pull me back out. So this is good.
So we've got to here. We understand what it is. So break down the mechanics of the free plus shipping. Who pays for what? How does that work? I'm imagining is the whole free plus shipping thing, you're capturing card details. So that start to reduce friction down the road for other things.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's look at an actual funnel. So let's say that, and this is one funnel we did that was actually very successful. It was for those, I don't know, do you drink wine, Danny?
I used to, yeah.
You used to, okay.
Yeah, go.
So we created a funnel for a wine pouch. So basically it was like you could fill it up with wine and you could roll it up, make it really small, put it in your pocket when it was done. But it was basically a portable wine pouch. And it clipped on, and people could take it to events, concerts, things like that. So let's kind of break that down. Let's use that as a kind of a case study. So what do we know about somebody who is carrying around a disposable / portable wine pouch? One, we know that they like wine. Anybody who is that much into wine that they'll take it to a park with them, they probably are into it a little bit. Two, they're probably pretty social. Most people are not going to take a wine pouch generally to a concert by themselves and drink. They probably are coming with friends, and they're probably going to, they're probably pretty social people. They probably have a few people they're going to drink with. So the front end of this funnel, we took our main sort of item, which was the pouch itself, and we had a free plus shipping offer on it. I think we had it at like $3.95 or $4.95, and that was the initial offer. Now we made nothing on that front end. Like we literally broke even. The next step of that is think of John, the personal shopper. So he comes in, the wine pouch, right? And now he's trying to think like what else fits this person? The cufflinks, the belt, the shoes, like he's trying to figure it out. So we do our research. We know they're pretty social. We know they like wine. So we created at the time, which was a holiday pack. So he said, hey, hold on. We have one more offer for you. So they've already paid the $3.95. They've entered their credit card information. They've entered their contact details. So they've already purchased that $3.95 pouch. Now on the next page of the funnel, we tell them, hey, hold on a second. You don't want to mix your reds and whites, basically, right? Because they like wine. So don't mix your reds and whites. Let's go ahead and give you a holiday pack, which is 2 pouches. And we know they're pretty social. So we included 4 silicone wine glasses. So they can have their whole little holiday pack to take with them to the concert. That was a $49 holiday pack altogether. That was our upsell. Then we had a downsell for just 1 pouch and 2 glasses, which was basically if they said no to that offer, we assume price is the only thing that they don't want.
Just a quick one, just to interject there. Sorry. Downsell and upsell, just before, for people that don't understand what it is, do you want to quickly, briefly give them those?
Yeah, so the first upsell, so they bought the first pouch. Then the first upsell is a one-time offer. So it's basically like, listen, this is not available anywhere else. It's something we've put together just for you, and it's going to be the $49 holiday pack. If they say, yes, I want it, then they're taken to a thank you page. Now, the beauty of a funnel, we've already captured their credit card information. So as Danny said, we're reducing the friction because they don't have to re-enter the card. They just click yes, and it's added to their cart.
Hence
So
the
we're
emotion.
taking
So we're now dealing with the emotion thing again.
exactly like now we've got them. It's the same thing as when you're shopping. You're like, ooh, oh, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Yeah.
like you start grabbing things. Um, people want to buy. It's we work hard. We have disposable income. We want to buy. We just have to be caught sort of in the right mood and be sort of I don't know, like be presented the right offer. I guess that's what it is.
So that's
It's
upsell
not,
and then
that's the
downsell.
upsell.
Yeah.
If they say, nah, I don't know, $49, a little stiff for me. No thanks. Now we show them a down sale. And what we assume with a down sale is price was the only objection. We assume we did our research, we had the right offer, it just was the wrong price. So we will present to them a separate offer that has a lower price but still fulfills the same need that they have. Again, this is to the point of congruent offers.
Yeah.
If John, the personal shopper, starts saying, hey, do you want a woman's blouse, to a man looking for a suit for date night, it's totally incongruent. So that's where the little bit of research at the beginning allows us to make offers that we know people will naturally say yes to. So there's the upsell. If they say yes, it's added to their cart, thank you page. If they say no, they go to a lower priced offer that's still congruent with what they want. If they say yes or no to that, they're taken to the thank you page. But again, it's a one-click upsell. They don't have to enter their card details again. Now we can get them, spending basically.
Excellent.
And that's the funnel. Now there's a few little, bells and whistles we could put in there, but that is the overall kind of high-arching goal. And again, the main thing we're trying to do is the better we understand. So again, the better we bring in qualified traffic into our funnel, the better we understand their pain points and what it is that makes them want to buy.
Yeah.
The better we can frame our offers and give them sense. So in that funnel example, 5 days into launching that funnel, we started driving traffic. That funnel, if you break down the numbers, we were putting $1 in and making profit $1 or, after expense, $1.37 out. So we were literally, for every dollar we put in, we were putting $37 of profit after expenses back into our pocket.
Yeah.
So, and what are you getting when you get that? You're getting buyers and you're getting buyer information. So these are buyers. And once you figure out that equation, $1 in, $1.37 out, you can start scaling that. And you tweak, then you test, and then you get $1 and $2 out.
Well, let's break out them aspects, right? We discussed going through the funnel. We went through the upsell, we went through the downsell, but we didn't discuss coming out the other side. So a percentage will go through that funnel. Some will be winners, some will be losers. What do we do? Let's just say you've got a 30% conversion. What are we doing with the data on the other 70%? How do we re-engage them? What can we do with that information? You start at the beginning of the funnel to sell them something. You've captured part of their details. I don't know what you've captured because we didn't discuss that bit. But what details have you captured if you didn't capture the credit card details? Imagine someone passed through cleanly. What did you capture in that moment?
Yeah, so you're saying they come, they click, they land, but they bounce. They decide this isn't for me, I don't want to buy.
So is there a stage where they have to register with an email address to start any of the journey? Or
so the free plus shipping funnel we use a two-step order form because what the last thing we want to do is, again, think guy at the bar, right? It's like, hey, give me your name, address, social security number, blah, 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 like
kills people. Yeah.
So we do a two-step order form where we need all these details. We need their name, address, phone number, credit card info, shipping address, but we split it out. So the first thing we ask for is simply, hey, where should we ship your free wine pouch?
Yeah.
So now we have an opportunity to get their name, an address, a phone number, a few details.
Yeah.
Then we say, click, payment details. So step 2 is payment details. Yeah. Now they have the opportunity to enter their credit card info and shipping address, usually it'll just be credit card info, but sometimes we'll split out the shipping. Yeah. In any case, we're breaking up the process. We're reducing barriers to sort of purchase.
Yeah.
Now, there's two scenarios. One is they land on the landing page and they leave. They never even get us the first step.
Yeah.
And for that, we use a Facebook pixel. So we've pixeled them.
Yeah.
So now they go into our retargeting list.
Yeah.
They're not quite cold. They're not quite warm traffic, but they're not really completely cold traffic. Like they've at least seen our offer. So now we can retarget them. We know we've got kind of the right people because they thought enough of our ad and our product to click, but there's something that just didn't didn't work for them. They could have just been distracted. Maybe they just decided they didn't want it anymore. But the bottom line is we were able to pull them out of the crowd. We don't want to just let them go.
Yeah.
So that we pixel them, and that's part of a retargeting list that we can market to later on with other offers, different ads, different ways to engage. Maybe we'll take them and remarket with a video ad or something. The next layer deeper of not buying is we got the pixel, they came, but they also gave us an email. Because remember, step 1 is we want their contact info. Step 2, we want their payment info. So something happened between step 1 and 2. Now that is basically like an abandoned cart sequence.
Yeah.
They were very, very close. I mean, they thought enough to give us their email, and something happened where they didn't buy. Now, you can get I've seen people be very sort of passive with how they remarket to those people, because that is pretty warm traffic. They will maybe run an ad and say, oops, or send a follow-up email like an abandoned cart, or run a retargeting ad like, oh, it looks like you forgot to check out. Make sure you grab your free pouch while supplies still last or something. Or we send them an email like an abandoned cart email. I've seen very, very successful sellers. I mean, I have one friend who did $20 million last year on one funnel. One funnel, no Amazon, no Shopify, one funnel. He did $20 million in revenue. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what you're going to do, or even that's what I'm going to do this year, but it's just to show you that funnels alone can be a complete shopping cart and an e-commerce business. He has a phone team that will actually call the people because they've entered their phone number and address. I mean, and email address. So they'll actually literally within 5 minutes, he has a team that just will pick up the phone and give them a call. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, John, we saw you were about to check out. Is there anything we can help you to kind of move this process along or whatever it is, or, like whatever. Because a lot of times people are distracted. That's what ends up happening. They open another browser.
Yeah. Sounds good. And so just I love getting the technical side of this. Let's take it back a few steps. We talk about congruency, right? I'm taking this back to the ad again. What we didn't discuss was the landing page itself. And I think it's very important is that the image on your landing page should be the same image in your ad. The title on your landing page should represent the title. So the image in the advert on Facebook should represent the image and the title on the landing page, correct? Or a relationship between the two? Because I've seen stuff whereby someone's put in a picture of a beautiful woman and this weird title, and they get to this shitty looking landing page which has got like long form text on it. The logo's broken in pixels at the top of the page and it just looks like garbage. So the trust is disappearing. So what's key here is that we've discussed the actual attributes of a funnel, but where do we interject the congruency from the ad to the landing page?
Yeah, so this is definitely getting to the more technical aspects, but you're also getting into the things that actually make it convert.
Yeah.
So, and first of all, don't ever do that. That's called clickbait. We have seen this. This is like something. It's not as popular as it was just like maybe 6 months ago, where I would see like a gorgeous woman. I actually have seen them recently, but gorgeous woman like, hey, like smiling, and you click over and it's like an ad for supplements or something, or it's a landing page for supplements. Don't do that. So people have, we want congruency, and it goes down to not only image but colors, headline. Like the headline that got them to click, that's probably pretty good. But the point is, people shop in a spoke. I think it's a wheel and spoke pattern.
Yeah,
so how many times
zigzag,
have you done?
The eyes go down, like it goes from the top of the page down and zigzags across. They jump, don't they? So.
Well, not only that, like how we actually search. Like how many times have you, your audience, I'm sure, has done this. Like I do it all the time. You're Googling something or you're looking for something. You're Googling best coffee. You click. It takes you to something. You're like, oh no, that's not right, and you come back, and you go out and you come back. You go out and you come back. So you kind of have your home base. When you go out to one spot and that looks like, oh, that was congruent. That the ad, it's called the ad scent. The ad scent matched. It looked, the colors were the same, so it looks like I'm at the right place. What do? We go a little deeper and we read a little bit more, or we start clicking a little bit more. But there's almost this like knee-jerk reaction when we go from one place to another on the web. We're like, oh no, that doesn't look right, and we bounce right back. And that's what'll happen. If you have an ad and then where you send them to on the landing page is not congruent and the ad sent is different, so it just feels different, looks different, they're going to think they went to the wrong place or something. The red flags are going to go off, and then they're going to bounce right back and be like, no thanks, and they're going to keep looking through their feed.
Okay, and let's talk about just little techniques that people can use. Is that, I call it hitting the fisherman over the head with a wet fish. So if you sell fish, your title's got to explain I sell fish in some way, but you then need to kind of, I don't know how you build out all your landing pages, and there are millions of ways to do it, but that congruency between the title, the short description, and quite often the 3 bullet points. Do you want to talk about the congruency there of how you get your offer across for those people that are zigzagging?
Yeah, are you talking about in the actual lander?
Yeah, once they're arriving on the landing page, because it's important is that you want people to sign up and complete forms. And as we know, is that quite often every extra field that you add on a form can contribute to a loss of up to 20% in conversions because you've asked for too much. So what's going to be key is how do we tie the title, the description, and the 3 bullets together? Because not all pages do, but if you look like at the anatomy of a landing page, quite often you would see those. You get the image, the title, a description, and 3 bullet points generally. Yeah.
So the big thing is when they come on, we want the headline to be super congruent. So a landing page, a basic look, almost, this is sort of like the control you want to start with. If you have any social proof, so if you've been featured on anything, you want to highlight that at the beginning. Don't brag about it with huge, massive logos of the media sources you've been featured on or where, But if you do have some social proof, as far as like media, we like to put that at the top. But let's say not. So we're going to start the way like Danny's saying, the way the eye reads, it starts top left in most English-speaking countries, top left to bottom right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to use an image. So one thing that I'll see people do wrong is they'll put the bullets on the top left of the page or the benefits, and then the image on the right. You want to start with the image because there was an image that caught their attention. There's an image that's going to keep them engaged. So we start with an image first. So you can start with the headline at the top. Actually, let's back up.
Yeah.
The headline at the top, the image underneath the headline, but on the left. And then we want to have benefits, not features.
Yeah.
Features goes back to that neocortex, the logical part of the brain. People do not buy with logic. Mm-hmm. As much as we like to sell from logic, we like to pitch from a logical standpoint.
Yeah.
Mainly because we love our product so much and we know all the features of it and all the care we put into it. People don't care.
Yeah. So we're not selling them a hammer, are we? We're selling them a way of distributing a nail into a wall.
Exactly. I'm not selling you coffee. I'm selling you a unique tasting experience
or energy, like the caffeine in the coffee gives you the energy. So you're selling you're selling the well-being.
Yeah. A vacation in a cup. That's what I'm selling you. Is a vacation in a cup, right? Or I'm selling I'm supercharging your business for, whatever it is. The point is you're selling them benefits. So your bullet should be benefits. And then we want to make sure that we have our call to action. So our button, whatever it is, above the fold, which means they don't have to scroll down in order to take action. Because you've got 2 types of buyers. You have emotional, and then you have people who think they're logical, but eventually they're just going to buy an emotion anyway. So at the top, we want to grab our emotional buyers. As we go down through the page, if we have some kind of, if we have any more content, that's where maybe we call out some of the features and, logically explain why they should buy. But ultimately, we're still going to,
And they're quite useful for technical stuff, aren't they? If a product's a lot more technical, people are more likely to scroll. And obviously, that's going to be based on unit price as well. If something's $20, then you can be quite brief with it. And it's quite simple to use because it's a slab of plastic that was manufactured in China. But let's just say it's something more sophisticated, requires a manual, costs you $100, the chances are you're going to need to invest a little bit more in the copy, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So, and copy is one of those things where, unless you're selling something really high end, you won't have to worry about a lot of copy. If you're trying to sell something that's, higher end, you will have to kind of, Copy can be expensive. If you're trying to sell like a $2,000 product, you're probably gonna. Especially to a cold audience who doesn't really know much, you're gonna have to really get your copy nailed down.
Yeah.
Headlines are 80% of your copy.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most important things. And what I have found is I've worked with a lot of sellers. the best copy is written by the sellers themselves as soon as you get them to understand the benefits of their product. Like usually sellers really understand why their product is so cool.
But they don't always know how to present it in the right manner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just about pulling out the benefits. Again, new and improved lid. No, like keep the coffee in the cup so you don't ruin your suit. Like we need to sort of pull out like why the benefits are the features are so beneficial. That if people can understand that, if they can think in terms more of the benefits and start injecting a little personality into it. That's some of the best benefit lines. Just have a little personality. Like you have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
You get people, again, emotionally, you get them to laugh. You get them to really be like, oh, okay, like there's actually a person behind this brand. It's not just, sort of sterile copy just talking to me.
Cool. Well, look, we've gone quite granular on certain areas, which has been brilliant because we've had a bit of a geek out. But let's talk about the most common mistakes that you see with other people's funnels. What's the biggest mistakes you're seeing?
Yeah, so we've covered a lot of them. I think we've been talking about sort of do's and don'ts, and this has actually been really good. This is kind of similar to what like a strategy session would be like. But this actually ties into the value ladder portion of the last portion of the funnel.
Sorry, go on, carry it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is like, so let's go back to the date analogy. All right, we got her attention. We bought her a drink. She was like, all right, cool. So us giving is saying, here's the free thing. That was our give. We asked a little bit. We said, okay, we got her number, right? We got the number. We got a little dinner date. But then we go home and we never call her. Like that's kind of what most people do in their funnel. You get their attention. You get people to click. You get them to actually buy. They get to the thank you page. And you're just like, all right, peace out. Cool. You'll get it in the mail pretty soon. And that's where they leave it. And that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make because now what have you done? Like you've gotten their contact information. You've got a buyer. And a buyer's a buyer's a buyer. Like if you can connect with them enough, like they'll buy again. And you can market to them now for free. Like they're saying, listen, I'm open to talking with you right now. And people will leave that. So one of the best pieces of advice I can give you on that thank you page. So remember, we got them to the free plus shipping. In this case, we had an OTO, our first upsell. They said yes. Now they're at the thank you page. Or they said no, it was a lower priced OTO, and now they're at the thank you page. Now we can have an opportunity to connect with them. The last thing you want to do on a thank you page is, all right, check your email for your purchase receipt. Thank you very much. Visit our website. Don't do that. That's your opportunity to tell a little bit about your story, about your brand. You could put a video on there if you'd like. We use video a lot on thank you pages. You don't have to. Another thing, you've already have them interested. Send them somewhere. Give them another call to action. One of the things I learned from my friend who did, like I said, he had 20 million in one funnel. He stacks funnels on top of each other. So if you have 4 different funnels that are free plus shipping offers, take them through one free plus shipping. Hey, these are 3 other products you may be interested. Okay, now we're stacking funnels on top of each other. You will have people who will click another one, go through that entire funnel, click another one on the thank you page, and go through 3 funnels all at once. Another thing we can do is give them a call to action to send them somewhere so they can become part of our community. If you have affiliate partners, this is something I learned. I'm in a few high-level masterminds. I'm in one mastermind that I pay $25,000 per year to be a part of, and it's worth every penny. I would have paid more, 100%, because the brilliant minds that are in that group, I learn every day. I hope that I contribute something every day, but I learn from them every day. And one of the biggest ahas for me was, you already know someone who's interested in a certain niche market. There are going to be people, let's say you got coffee aficionados. There's going to be people on your list who are going to want to take a trip, a $2,000 trip to visit the fields of, the Hawaii island where these beans are made. I know it sounds crazy, but they're in there. You have big ticket buyers in there. Well, I'm never going to offer a trip, but I can have affiliate partners that I can reach out to. So thank you pages are wonderful places to make affiliate offers where you can make a little bit of money on the transaction, and guess what? You're satisfying something that they want anyway. Not everyone's going to want a full Brioni or Canali suit, but there's going to be some that will. And if John says, hey, and by the way, if you're interested in a high-end tailor that sells like some of the finest suits in America, here's his information, and you can give him a call. It's the same thing.
Sounds good. Okay, so if we've done the top line, we've gone and dig deep a little bit into this. Now I did breach earlier on that the funnels are now easier to deal with nowadays than what they used to be, because you'd have to have your engineers build the landing pages and then build your funnels, and it was quite a technical process for non-technical marketers. But there's a series of we're not here to plug softwares, but there are a series of softwares out there that uses the attributes and you're able to build funnels in. So what do you use for your funnel building?
Yeah, so I've tried a lot of different software. Like you said, it used to be super expensive. Like a funnel that we've talked about right now, before a lot of the tools that have come out, it would have been a 4-month process, and you're probably looking at $30,000. That's without a high-end copywriter. So it was just expensive, and it was time consuming. So the tool I use ClickFunnels. There's a reason why they are now at 40,000 active users. They're tracking to have 100,000 active users by the end of this year. That company is growing like crazy, and it's because it's just the best. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. If you have WordPress, you can use there's different plugins you can try to get to talk to each other. There's other ones that I'm trying to think. One of the other ones that that I've heard a lot of people do is like Unbounce. But when you start adding it all up, by the time you get the features that are in ClickFunnels, you'd have to get 4 different pieces of software to do what one ClickFunnels can do, and you're going to pay twice as much. So
yeah, and I'd like to just make it aware to the audience, ClickFunnels isn't cheap, but then you've got to look at what results you're going to get and whether you take it seriously or not. So it's always good to point out there is an investment there, because I think it's about $100 a month or something like that.
Yeah, it's like $100 a month, and I'm not a pitch man for the company, so I'm not going to sort of go into all the features and benefits and everything, but hands down is, if you think of it as another software tool, like an analysis tool, maybe it's not, $100 is pretty steep, right? Because a lot of us have $39 and $29 little software for our Amazon stuff. When you start seeing it as an investment in your business to actually create an entire e-commerce store, then all of a sudden $100 a month it's really
going to be down to your results, isn't it? It's like first stage is you've got to understand your traffic stream and work out what the costs are for that. Then you've got building the cost of your funnel software. You've got to weigh off the cost of doing it on, say, WordPress and paying someone to put it all together on the cheap. That might end up being more expensive later on as you want to build in those other features as well. So it's always trying to work off time against your cost factor, isn't it?
Yeah. And the big thing is what I always want to, again, I'm always transparent with people. It's not that, I got ClickFunnels. I push, like I literally had a guy tell me, he's like, I can't wait to get ClickFunnels. I'm going to get it next month. I'm going to make so much money. Like, okay, well, what's your strategy? Like, let's talk through the strategy itself. Well, I don't know, but it's ClickFunnels. Like, no, okay, like we need a strategy.
Yeah.
So what it allows you to do is test faster than ever. And that's the big takeaway, is that, like, you have an idea, and maybe let's say you've got a good front end offer, but man, the upsell is just no one's taking the upsell. This week, I could test 6 different upsell offers by just clone. I just add in a new page, boom, 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 run traffic, see which one got better metrics. That one got 15% conversion rate, boom. Get rid of the other ones. That becomes my new control. I can do that in a week as opposed to like 6 months.
Yeah.
So it allows you to fire faster. It just allows you to just test.
I think the other advantages as well is this: if you're new to funnels and you don't have a background in conversion optimization and PPC off of Amazon and stuff, ClickFunnels is a bit like someone that uses AdWords using sponsored ads. You're like, well, this is easy. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I suppose there are advantages of it that way. But no, that's good. So ClickFunnels will set things up. What kind of budget we looking realistically to work with? We've got our software budget. We're going to need our our traffic budget, whether that's for Facebook, more than likely traffic. What we're looking to start off with, what should people look to start?
Yeah, so once you have the software, like ClickFunnels is really the only big investment you'll make. You'll want to have some kind of autoresponder because you're going to want to be able to communicate with your audience. There is a higher end package that ClickFunnels offers. For people starting out, I would go with the basic ClickFunnels package, and then get something like Aweber or MailChimp just to plug in. It's very easy to plug in. ClickFunnels makes it super. They integrate with everything. That's the advantage of being with the kind of higher, like top end softwares. They integrate well. So you get like an autoresponder, so you can just run emails out to your customers, and then you're going to look at driving the traffic. So on the traffic side, we're big fans of micro budgets. We won't really run offers more than probably $5 a day, $10 a day max on our ads, because it's all about testing. And once we find something, initially you're going to have the dollar in, 90 cents out, dollar in, 50 cents out. Okay, that we can't do that one. And we don't want to blow a lot of money. Like, we just need a big enough sample size, 500 impressions. Let's just see, kind of how it converts. Once we find something, we're like, all right, we're putting $1 in, we're getting $2 out. Sweet. Now we can start scaling that, because ultimately it comes to a point where, what is your budget? I mean, if you're putting $1 in, getting $3 out, like, your budget should be as much as you can possibly afford. But initially, $5 a day on our ad campaigns, maybe test, 3 or 4 different variations of the ad, and let's find the one that's converting. Again, it all sounds like very technical, but really it's a week's worth of work, maybe 2 weeks. We find a nice combination of the ad, the offer, and once we get those two to sort of talk, then we just start throwing more money at the ad side.
Cool.
So yeah, realistically, you're looking at ClickFunnels, an autoresponder, and $5 to $15 a day on a.
So should we say a $500 budget to kick things off with over the month, to go from grassroots, like maybe include 2 months of ClickFunnels so that you've got your first 15 days, 14 days free or whatever, and then all the other attributes that you need to get.
Yeah,
in some
I think that's pretty
budget.
good. I think it's pretty good just to figure it out, get it going, and then once you get something that's locked and loaded, then I would start scaling.
Cool. All right. So as we wrap this up, then I know we've gone in depth, but I'd like to do a summary. Right. Let's talk about that funnel. Right. We're gonna walk through a quick funnel end to end now. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna give you an idea for a funnel. Sell me a pack of 4 silicone spatulas. Talk to me from what we're gonna do in research. How we're gonna research this.
4 silicone spatulas, man. You gave me the most commoditized product on planet Earth. Okay. 4 silicone spatulas. All right.
It can be one if you want. I'm just trying to throw out.
No. It's fine. This is good. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to split it out. So let's do this. Let's say 4 silicone spatulas is our best seller.
Yeah.
What you've offered to me is the best seller. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start on the traffic side. I'm going to make a quick list. Let's see. What's the biggest pain point? Is
heat resistance. So far, so you don't burn yourself with the spatulas are going to be a key thing, aren't they? The duration, how long they last. Who's your
and
audience?
Then like heavy. So heavy, like we have like the metallic ones that say they're heavy, and then the silicone ones are lightweight, and they but maybe one of the pain points is that typically cheap spatulas like fall apart, like the grip falls apart.
And not just that, the metal ones, for instance, they get hot all the way through. So if they haven't got a plastic handle, then them spatulas are going to burn your hands if they've been left in the pot. Whereas a silicone one, there's normally a separation between the heat, isn't there? So.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to target. I'm going to actually split out my ads. I'm going to target women first. Is actually the first thing I'm going to do. But I'm going to target women. I'd have to figure out my age, but I would target between a certain age. But I would also target men who have an interest in like barbecuing, because typically if a man's interested in barbecuing, he's probably going to be interested in cooking in general. Mm-hmm. So that would be an interesting ad to target, or demographic to target. So we'll keep it at that high level for our targeting. On my ad, I'm going to call out the pain point. So I'm going to have an image of somebody who's like getting their hand burnt, but like just kind of like surprised at. And if I can get something where there is, I'm trying to not have to spend a lot of money getting custom ads made, custom images made. I would love something where someone's like throwing the metal spatula. Yeah. Because there's just kind of this shock, and like that would definitely grab attention. And I'm going to call out the main pain point is so let's say it's that the it's that they get too hot. So I'm going to ask an implied yes question in the headline in my ad. So I'm going to want to know if that is the pain point. Well, we'll put it this way, Danny. I'm gonna what is it? I'm gonna give myself an out by saying we're gonna test this headline.
Yeah.
We have other headlines we have to test. So tired of spatulas that get so hot they leave scalding burns on your hands. Like, yes. So again, I grabbed their attention with the image. I got them interested with my headline. Now I'm gonna tell a little story. We engineered our spatulas from step one to be lightweight, solid construction, blah, 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 so that, and then tell a little bit of story about our company. I wouldn't tell a story about a chef. Tell a story about our company, like why we put so much care into the products that we made.
Yeah.
Then I'd have a call to action saying, check to see if there's any like to get your free spatula set, click to check availability and to get your free spatula today.
Yeah.
So we'll send them over to the funnel. In the funnel, I'll do a free plus shipping, but I'm going to give them the option to do a 2, 4, 6, or 8 pack.
Mm-hmm.
So this sounds really like, what? Why would somebody buy 8 spatulas?
Well, do you know what I was going to say to you is that our target market could be, if you think we're going to give people 4 spatulas, most people are only going to need 1, unless you run a kitchen. So we should maybe target businesses whereby they haven't got to keep washing up all the time, and they have more than 1 pot running. So if they're running the pass, they're turning around and they've got their pans running, they're going to need to leave the spatulas in there. They can't just keep crossing over into the different foods because of food allergies and stuff like that. So we could actually focus on restaurants, for instance, that need multiple spatulas at service without the need of keep washing up.
Yeah, that's good. And actually in your image too, because if you're targeting chefs, you could have a chef looking at the camera like, because it's like,
or it could be an octopus with all these spatulas. It could be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, there we go. See, we're building this thing live. Maybe we can sell spatulas.
Yeah.
So, but then I'm going to give them multiple choices. And the reason we do that with physical products, we always want to give them multiple quantities. Mm-hmm. People will buy 8 packs of stuff. It makes no sense. If you sell one thing free shipping, give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Statistically, we've seen 38% will take 1, which means 62% will take one of the multiple quantities. Now, if it's $5 for one, it's 10, 15, 20, 25. And it doesn't cost us the same to ship 1 as it costs to ship 5. So our margin gets better and better in multiple quantities. The upsell, it's going to have to be something that's really congruent. We'd have to do a little research, but let's go with the right away. When I'm thinking about like the barbecue guy, it depends what other products you have too. But if I have my choice of any products that I can do in the upsell, if it's our barbecue guy, I want to add some more products that are, because we said he's going to be into barbecue, but he's probably also into cooking in general. So I would want to have a bundle of some products that are that can go both ways, like the shish kebab skewers or something that I want to think of a product that hits at his core interest of barbecuing, but can also be used in the kitchen. Like I don't want to just have a grill brush. Mm-hmm. Because that's not really congruent with the guy who's going to want the spatula. But if I'm targeting a guy who's into barbecuing, and that's kind of how I've pre-framed my message, then I want something that can be used in both spots. Yeah. So that would be an upsell, maybe a bundle of products. The downsell, I would strip out some of them. And then on the thank you page, I would, like I said before, I would either send him to one of our other offers that we have, mm-hmm. or at the very least send him back to our community so he can start getting indoctrinated into our community of chefs and food lovers and barbecuers and everyone else. So he leaves that funnel not only with a product, but a sense of community.
Excellent. And thank you. I'll put you right on the spot there. This isn't rehearsed. This is me putting you completely on the spot. This really was
not rehearsed.
No. And so, but it's good because what it is that what we're trying to do is get people to think about, well, I need to build a funnel. And they look at the technical aspects first, but don't think what goes into the funnel. So I've picked something outrageous. Why would you have 4 spatulas? But my get out of jail free card was it's for chefs in the kitchen. So there is a market there. There's a niche there, possibly, if people are crazy enough, to do that. But I just wanted to show people is that funnels are not just a technical thing, but you've got to think about the attributes of the strategy, what goes into the funnel, the creative process, because you can have the best looking funnel in the world, you can have the best written funnel in the world in terms of content, but you need to generate them ideas at the beginning. So you need to try and look at different ways to coming up for the concept for your funnels at the start.
Exactly. And design, I'll just tell you right now, design is not as big of a deal as you think. It really does come down to understanding your customer. That we've seen that over and over and over again. Some of the ugliest funnels convert because the message is just spot on.
Yeah, congruency. Brilliant. Okay, is there anything the audience should know before you leave? Is there anything regarding funnels?
No, nothing else. I mean, I think this was actually a pretty deep dive. Like, this is more than I thought we would have time to cover. And I guess we didn't have time. We made time. Which is awesome.
Exactly.
But I guess as a follow-up, what I've done is I've put an offer together for them, just like a free package, just some goodies.
Yeah.
So if they want to go to freefunnelclass.com, I've basically put together a few funnels. So I put a free plus shipping funnel and an Amazon coupon funnel, and I've created a video training course completely free where they can go through and really get the basics of ClickFunnels. It includes a 14-day trial to ClickFunnels, so there's no expense at all on their end. And they can just get kind of the basics down and understand how the software works. And really, I think once they finish that, they'll have an idea of sort of the power of the tool. And I think by the end of it, should have some good ideas on how they could apply it in their business.
What about there's going to be proportion of our audience that take on all the marketing themselves, but of some of the bigger guys, they farm out externally. You know, we've had a lot of people on in the past that that our audience tend to speak to our guests quite often, you know, to engage them in services because it's not something they want to manage. So if someone wanted to approach you directly to manage their funnels or do some work with them in terms of consultancy or booking you for speaking gigs, how do they reach you?
So they can reach me at brian@ecomunderground.com.
Do you want to spell the Bryan for them as well?
Yeah, Bryan, spelled correctly.
Yeah,
I've got two other Bryans who are dear friends in this space, and I tease them all the time. So, so Bryan, Bryan @ecomunderground.com, and yeah, I'd love to chat and talk a little strategy and see what we can do to help your business.
Excellent, and of course we've covered a lot here, guys. So leave any questions you have of Bryan or me in the comments below. As this is a pre-record session, we will be monitoring the video. So, Bryan, are you okay to do that? Answer questions for the audience as well when it's published to Facebook, to YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Just I'm sure you'll give me the details just to make sure that I have access. You know that I'm up to date so that I know when the questions are asked because I'd love to help any way I can.
Excellent. Well, brilliant. Thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed that myself. I'm sure that there could be a part 2 down the line where we can even go even deeper dive. But I just thought we'd get the audience to understand the basics, even though we did dive in. There is a lot more that we can cover, isn't there, in terms of stuff. So we can have a real geek out on a future date. So would you come back at some point?
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to dive deep, and we could probably take any one of these concepts and just spend 50 minutes just talking about those and really go another layer deeper. Yeah,
I mean, we maybe could do one based on the coupon code rather than just the free plus shipping. We can look at other attributes as well, different funnels. So yeah,
awesome.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming on, and again, thanks for your time, guys. Very much appreciated. Don't forget, down below, hit subscribe, and we shall be back very, very soon. Take care.
Down below. All right. See you, Danny.